asking for money. Like, who came up with that? Look, pay the guys. If it's an ad agency or creative agency that you paid, by all means, they've done the work. You've approved the ad. It's broadcast all over. Why would the SIU say our investigators don't ask for money? Like, what's that? I've got cognitive dissonance right now. You're not supposed to ask for money. You're not supposed to be even reminding people that, by the way, amaphoyisa wethu mawazophenya awaceli mali. What is that? I don't know. For me, it just got me thinking. It got me thinking that, so we have a problem here. When you have to tell people that they investigate, it's like going to a government hospital and telling the patients who use government hospitals, and there's a lot of good government hospitals, believe it or not. Steve Biko is one of them. Only because they were good hospitals even before the disastrous people took over government in 94. But for some reason, the medical profession has managed to fight back, the rot of the health system in South Africa, because it's literally rotten. Flies. Go to Jubilee Hospital. Okay, they can't sue me either because it's a fact. And maybe Seba, they might have done something. Maybe they used a lot of vinegar or something, I don't know, to get rid of the flies. But yeah, Jubilee Hospital, it's you, your God, and your health. Mawia Lapaya, good luck to you. But some of them have kept it together. Tobela, Absheni, good afternoon again. I suppose we always default to the English. Hi, welcome back, everyone. Early in the year, after festive season, people are trying to detox, baphuza castor oil, the works. That's what should be done. Welcome to this next episode of...
What do you want to call it? It's not. I think it's not.
It is Virtual Mkuku. No, we'll go with Virtual Mkuku
Virtual
until we have a
right?
name.
Okay.
We'll do a vote for the name.
Okay.
So let me start again. Ungovernable, but I guess it's Virtual Mkuku still.
No, it's fine.
Right?
You don't have to cut. This
it's
is fine.
ungovernable
It's
Virtual Mkuku, right?
It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah, it is what it is. So the reason I actually got confused with the name is because of this conversation that transpired the last time we spoke about this, to say, what is the name of this podcast? I'm stuck to Virtual Mkuku. Yes, Miss Ungovernable, because that's basically my name. That's basically my adjective as well. I am extremely ungovernable. It's not a myth. It's not a story out there. It's not a thing. This is me, and I don't really change. And I actually like to be ungovernable because, as you know, that the world this year, South Africa and the US are going to elections, right? And only people with ungovernable mentality will know who or what to vote for, because primarily it's a what. What the hell are you voting for? Because after voting, you all sit back, moan, complain, watch all sorts of podcasts, listen to content out there in the internet to say, and then you complain. Oh, let's say we, sorry, not you, we complain. Hey, Putsbu. After that messy introduction?
No, it's not messy. It's beautiful. And thank you for opening up the opening up the show. I'm looking forward to watching your episodes, what ideas you have, where you're gonna take the platform to. Your voices like yours are needed. I always say that. And people love to hate you.
Yeah.
People appreciate your content. It doesn't mean they hate you.
Yeah.
They love to hate you, meaning they differ with you in terms of ideologies.
Yes.
So sometimes bavumelana now, sometimes bavumelane now. And that's why I loved working with Penuel so much, because he's able to create engagements. He's able to create abantu abangavumelani naye nabantu abavumelana naye, and that becomes a beautiful conversation, right? Or opportunity to engage. So I'm very excited to look to see what you turn this platform into.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I think Penuel doesn't get enough kudos for exactly what you were saying, being able to spark debate, but also being able to push controversy to the absolute maximum, to the point where you're thinking, this is inappropriate. Like, oh, this is so. So whether people love it, hate it, it's neither here nor there. That's the entire thing about information and how we share information. We are in the age where information is just a continuous, non-stop, very metabolic, engagement, and we need that. Like I said, it's an election year both in South Africa and in the US. South Africa much earlier than the US one, but it's an important year, 2024, for many, many reasons. I think the ANC have got their 30th, year post colonial, the colonial liberation struggle, which they claim they led, and an operative word claim, but the people struggle against whatever form of colonization was happening, since the formation of the ANC, and of course before that. And so it's very important because 30 is also an amazing number. I do think that it is the beginning of the end of whatever global order we've all come to know. And South Africa being part of the global community, are a very important constituency in the world in terms of how far and hard do human beings really push back against imperialism, because it's extremely important to push back against imperialism. Even if imperialism was a good thing, it's important always to push back against any system or norm that becomes excessively domineering and that starts to threaten freedoms, basic freedoms of movement, freedom of association, freedom of expression. And all these freedoms, the opposite also apply. Freedom of expression is also freedom of silence. Freedom of association is also freedom of dissociation. Freedom of movement is also freedom of not wanting to move or wanting to be stationary, etc. And so for me, I think it's going to be an absolutely amazing year. I think that also More Fire is going to do even better.
We receive Siyabong.
Because you've introduced the sugar-free or no sugar.
Yes.
No sugar. I don't know the politics of sugar-free and no sugar, right?
Yes.
Or let's just say artificial sweetener-free.
Yeah, but we've got one with
because
no
you can
sugar
make
at
it.
all.
You can make it.
SA flavor.
It can be sweet. It can be like nectar. It can have a nectar flavor without necessarily having sugar. Because
Yes,
when we
ma'am.
fight sugar, we're fighting the processed sugar. Because there's sugar in a lot of the stuff that we have here today, and we'll come and talk about that. I think we've been trying to get. I've been trying to introduce an element of natural food, natural, let's say natural consumption, because natural consumption goes way beyond food. It's your clothes, it's what you put on your hair, how you wash your hair, how you take care of your skin. On that note, I wanted
You're not
to
wearing
ask you.
makeup
I'm
today.
not wearing. Yeah, I wanted.
You've got
thank
your
you.
natural nappy hair.
Yeah,
And
as
we're
usual.
talking nature. We are in the trees.
We're
We're
in,
outside.
like,
You're
beautiful.
dressing in stunning crystals.
Thank
And
you.
you're just in your natural habitat with no makeup. Umuhle kanjani?
Thank you so much. You always make me blush. So I wanted to say that I'm not wearing makeup, and I love makeup. But there are times when I just don't want to wear makeup. In fact, most of the time I'm not wearing makeup. I only wear makeup for like serious meetings and stuff. But because I've been treating my face and my skin with natural products, as natural as possible, which means minimally processed stuff, if I have to have processed stuff. But since I've been using natural stuff from my garden, most of it, of course, some I have to buy, I'm actually more economically able to do other things with the money that I'm saving from the expensive products. But I'm also able to let my skin breathe a lot better. I'm also able to retain some of the moisture. You can shine right now, I know, because I've actually just found a new way of plumping up my skin. So you can plump up your skin, like the collagen that your skin needs but loses as you get older. So as we get older, we're losing the skin's ability or the body's ability to even manufacture and retain more collagen. But babies, when they're born, they're nice and plump, and that's like because of excessive amounts of collagen. And teenagers are beautiful with like plump skin and fresh, because they still have high amounts of collagen. You get to a certain age where the collagen starts to sort of recede, or your body is just not producing as much, and you need to help it naturally, not with okay, I'm not slating the people about Botox. It's okay, do your Botox. There's no judgment, again, no judgment. But once you move to natural ways of taking care of your skin and your hair and your body inside and out, and your space around you, you just feel a lot better, a lot lighter. You can feel when your skin is dry and you quickly moisturize. So I normally do, there's like this flaxseed, so shall I call it a mask?
Okay.
Flax seeds.
Yeah.
When you boil them a little bit
Yeah.
and then leave them to cool off, they become gooey,
Yeah.
like really thick, looking exactly like the inside of the aloe gel that we spoke about last week. We had aloe. We'll talk about what's here. I then decided, okay, let me mix the two and do a mask, because normally you can make a mask with virtually many, many things that are in your cupboard. Coffee, an egg yolk, brilliant mask. And by the way, I get all these things on TikTok and YouTube, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
TikTok
And
and
that's what I
YouTube.
always say to other people. Like, TikTok can be very educational.
TikTok and YouTube, but also if you do engage a lot with people, if you go to like fresh goods markets, like farmers' produce markets, or markets where people are making their own stuff and selling, you can also find a lot of tips there. And if you just talk to your friends, you can exchange a lot of information. And the nice thing about natural products is that you can mix and match, because you can't really overdose. Yeah, you can get an irritation if you have an allergy or some reaction, but it's not something that's going to kill you or damage your skin. After the rash, it will recover. Then there's just a component, like with the aloe. When you cut it off at the top, there's a yellow substance that normally oozes out.
Yeah.
If you can try and rinse that off quickly, because that has some toxic component. Because, plants are chemical, so they do have chemical components. It can be a bit too sharp for your skin. But what I then discovered is that if I blend my aloe gel with my flaxseed goo, they look exactly the same, watery, thick, gelish, and they just stick like a blob. It's like you can make like a jelly sweet out of it, and it sticks on your skin and really like deals with those budding wrinkles, those little ones. Deal with them, lift your skin a bit, make it plump, boost the collagen. But guess what? I decided to mix it with my normal treatment, which is, and by the way, sengigeza nge-sunlight kuphela. Bona i-sunlight leyo washa ngayo impahla, especially isambatho, uma ngabe unesambatho.
Yeah.
Uma umuntu womoya, ukuthi isambatho siwashwa uwe kuphela ngelo.
The sunlight, the real
Sunlight
definition of
bar.
yonke insiphi
You
iyawasha.
save so much money. Okay, fine. There are people who will be like, yeah, it makes my skin dry. That's sorry for you. It doesn't for me. So I added clove. Cloves?
Yeah.
The ones that they normally use for chai tea, making curries, biryani especially, and many, many things. Clove is actually super, super potent. We spoke about it before. It kills parasites, amapara. So if you drink lots of clove tea, clove water, you get to cleanse your gut nicely. You get to get rid of the parasites a bit, and it helps you to reduce sugar. It's good for your blood. It's just brilliant. So I normally do clove water, and I add coconut oil, organic, of course. Even if it says odorless, doesn't necessarily mean it's organic, so just make sure it's organic. Coconut oil, which is now in the summer, it's great because coconut oil doesn't really dissolve well. It always solidifies. But in the summer, our temperatures are hot enough to keep it relatively, sort of soluble as much as possible. Shake that, add some castor oil. So I do like, let's say, this much clove water in my spray bottle. And you don't have to buy spray bottles. You use the previous products that you had. Just rinse them with lots of hot water, a little bit of dishwasher, and loads of vinegar. The cheapest, clearest vinegar, just to get rid of the old smells and whatever. Yeah, of course, make sure the plastic is BPA free if you can. But just use an old spray bottle, put the clove water there, boil the clove, lots of cloves, maybe 4 cups of water, cool it off, put that in, put in a fair amount, like a quarter of a cup of castor oil, maybe less, 150 mils of castor oil, quarter of a cup of coconut oil. Coconut oil is brilliant for black skin, specifically. Brilliant. Hair, it's a bit fussy. Sometimes it doesn't go very well with my hair. But for the skin, brilliant. And mix those 3, voila. Not only did I have a mask, after my mask, guess what I did? I rinsed off the aloe gel with the flaxseed goo as my mask, 30 minutes. And then mangqedile, that's now my cream. The aloe and the clove water. And castor oil and coconut oil. I know people are going to hate me because, like, now you can't say to your boyfriend, oh, okay, my products, my products. You can make your own stuff. It works better. You can't have an allergic reaction. It's brilliant for your skin. It locks in the moisture. It gives you the necessary. Aloe, by the way, is a sun protector. So when you go to the sea or swimming pool for a dip, rub a whole lot of aloe on you. that gooey bit, rub all of that on you and then swim, and that gives you, and it goes into your skin nicely. It also adds a lot of moisture, so it's also good for stretch marks. So if you've got a stretch mark area, always apply aloe goo on it, the aloe juice on it. When you go to sleep, aloe on your face. Mixing it with Vaseline, even better. Mix it with Vaseline and ulalangai. That's your night cream.
Tasa.
With aloe, night cream. So I'm trying to figure out excuses that people might be able to come up with to say, oh, wow, it's not this enough. Trust me, it works better than the expensive products.
So, I spoke about it before. That's what we call in Line a miracle drink. My mom would mix garlic, carrots, green apples, beetroots,
Ginger.
lemon, ginger. And then she'd make me those juices and she'd be like, "Nyakuyaqala sibusiso na concoction yakho ke ngicela ubela." I think it was a couple of days ago, I went and bought myself another concoction. Guys, I'm not a doctor. Go consult medical practitioners.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
We're just having a conversation here. I bought something called Jixima.
Yeah.
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 But it's good for you. I've just discovered, well, according to my mom's, there is a good concoction that you must buy, and I went and bought it. It's called Jixima.
Jixima,
yeah. It's bitter. When you drink it, it's bitter, but it's good for you also. But we're basically encouraging people since Joba Unya to start pursuing a healthy lifestyle at an affordable rate, where we're always encouraging people to also plant gardens.
Grow your own stuff.
Yes, and
pot plants.
I'm getting a lot of young people who are saying, Grotman, you're actually right. You are correct about the information about grounding, about hugging trees. We're
yes.
starting to figure out that information
and
now.
You can feel your immediate aura clearing when you do a lot more of that, when you do a lot more meditations, grounding, hugging trees, planting lots of herbs in your garden, having your own lavender, rosemary, thyme, whatever, basil, anything, parsley, coriander, whatever you want to plant in your garden. And we are well endowed in South Africa. We are well endowed. We are the most biodiverse, wealthy nation area, geographic area in the world, with the most widest variety of species of plants only. I always talk about this, in excess of 8,000. That basically means one thing to me. I know other people might argue and bring scientific results, but to me it means that majority of our soil is fertile. You can basically start a garden anywhere in South Africa. Literally anywhere, and your stuff will grow, unless of course it's something like Singapareli that only grows in the desert areas of Africa, sub-Sahara. I mean, what do they call it? Sahara Desert, the Karoo, Namibia, those areas, Botswana, Kenya. So there are plants that simply will not grow in any condition. There are rainforest plants that will only grow in rainforesty conditions or in certain soil. But majority of the stuff that you need and you use every day. And I like the fact that your mom makes you juice. Do you make your own juices?
My mom's.
Do you still buy juice?
Yeah, I still do, but I buy healthy juices. Sometimes I blend myself.
How do you know it's healthy?
Because it's organic. I don't go for seedless. I go for the real organic
and
stuff.
There's no extra sugar added.
Yeah. I go for real organic stuff.
Yeah, because already the stuff you're juicing most of the time, I mean, abo kale, abo what, aren't sweet, but majority of the stuff that we juice already has sugar naturally.
Another good fruit, bro, like Ilona is a very good fruit. Watermelon is a very good
Watermelon
fruit.
for men especially.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I saw somewhere, I think I was watching a video and they were talking about watermelon and its healing properties. And you know how after eating a whole lot of watermelon, you just go to the loo to pee. Apparently that's a very good thing. But apparently, you know that white part, the majority of the red part, there's like that white part between that white part and the outside. Yeah. Apparently that's good for you guys.
Yeah, they say it's good for us. Chai seeds are good for us.
Yeah.
Avocado is good for us.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not a doctor. Go consult medical.
No, but this is not medical. This is just like a lifestyle, as they call it.
You must always throw in
No, but why? No. I'm not disclaiming the fact that I do.
Because I don't want people to say, you told people to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. You are not a doctor.
But we're not telling anybody. We're having a conversation about the stuff. Like, for instance, nobody's saying don't buy cosmetics. We still buy. I do buy cosmetic products for my skin. But as a female, you can save a lot of money if you know natural stuff. That, for instance, the aloe, right? So, I bath with aloe quite a lot. I've got a lot of aloe growing in my garden. The plump, juicy one. Sometimes I don't use any soap or any foam bath. In fact, I don't use foam bath at all because mostly I'm allergic to a lot of it. You can get organic ones, and you can even make your own natural, foam bath in your kitchen. But motati alonjek pel and just remove all the thorns on the sides, and then open it up so that the gooiness comes out. The soapiness of that and the smooth, the silky texture you get, and it does actually cleanse your skin and open your pores. You literally feel the difference. So nobody's saying this stuff is better than that stuff. But my thing is, I don't need permission to talk about a natural substance. I'm a natural substance myself. I'm not made in a laboratory. I don't understand why suddenly go be wrong when, unless you are releasing medical information, of course. If you're now releasing medical information and I say, okay, this fig, these figs are for my garden, and I've got a very small garden.
So this is
it's a fig.
So this is garlic, obviously.
Yeah, that's my garlic. That's the
Ke
garlic.
feiye, e monate jwang ntho e?
Stunning.
Re godile re e ja ntho e, guys. E monate jwang? E monate ka
It's so
ne re e bitsa
nice.
feiye, ke feiye
And
ke
it's so
re. Ke
easy
ka
to
kgo-
grow. Fig, I don't. It's a fig.
Fig in English,
It's a
right?
fig, yeah.
Okay.
Fig. The apple is yours. I found it here. But I just wanted to say something about the apple. It's a very underrated. I read somewhere that apples have got, obviously, they're loaded in potassium and pears, right?
Yeah.
But I was reading up because I had sleeping problems for a very long time. I was reading up about, how to reduce my insomnia. Besides, kicking sugar out of my life, gluten, lactose, just changing my eating habits. Besides, getting exercise. Besides drinking loads of water throughout the day. Besides getting your natural minerals from like Celtic salt. Oh, by the way, a friend of mine just gave. Oh, I also want one now.
It reminds me of when I was growing up. I haven't had a feiye in a long time.
Look at
It's
that.
so nice.
Look at that, from my garden. And you know why? How I even managed to get these? I beat the birds.
You beat the birds.
There's 2 birds that come into my garden. I don't mind. I mean, of course, I've got a garden. Every time, Zizo check out the state of readiness. And then ngiyazazi vele zithi 1, 2. And ziyavakasha. You know how smart birds are.
Yeah.
Super smart. They come, so like lama figs have been like, there's lots of them now on the tree. So they're like little green spuds there. But they are cooler. So just as they're starting to ripen, because sometimes they can be red inside and still be green outside because it's preparing to ripen. The birds literally come and check up. They've been checking up the last 2 weeks very frequently. Zizocheck ngathi lezi. And esengiyazazi isikhathi sazo. Zifika between 11:30 and 12. I've been watching them. Because I was like, what, this year, I'm not sharing my figs with the birds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the birds can go, maybe the kunomfulanyana part of the Yakske goes through our complex. Zingaya lapha ziyofuna what did we call it? Mulberries.
Or mulberries.
Besiwabiza
Amurupeni.
namamurpei. Zingahamba ziyofuna bomurpei.
Now,
Usesemnandi.
I just thought of umrupeni namanje. And Rupeni was nice. But I was a professional. Guys, I know I've never said this on camera. But yes, I was a thief when I was young.
What?
But I was a professional. I was a professional peach thief.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you became an expert.
Mina nomngani wami uDidi noTibi ewelamla bathi yibo bona la.
Nihamba amajaridi wabantu abadala.
Yibo bona la.
Abogogo
And
mainly.
that time nibanjiwe naniyongena ejaridini bathi no mele ufake ilitsha ngaphansi kwelimi angeke bakushaya abantu abadala mele uthathe umthanyelo uyifake la enhloko einyweleni zakho
Before utshontsha le pages. Before utshontsha le pages. Because abogogo nabomama nabosibani bagcine lama pages for their canning.
Yeah.
Nina nicabanga ukuthi abawafuni. They're waiting for them to be the perfect ripeness to can and to make jam. Remember how we used to make jams?
My mom's used to make jam.
I planted apricot trees at home.
My mom would get like 20 bottle cans.
Yeah.
And she would make jam and she would keep it on top of our kitchen. What? For the
From
whole
where?
year.
From where was the
time
fruit
to time,
from?
From esihlahla sasekhaya.
Lesi wena bowuntshontsha
I
kuso.
mean, angangitshontsha
So
elsewhere.
manje you are robbing. Oh, untshontsha elsewhere.
Yeah, angangitshontsha
Ezakini that's so
was a
you
teenager.
were a proper thief. Inconsiderate, rude. Unomona. Awufuna abanye abantwana babe
I'm
nejam.
glad I didn't follow that route, yo.
Let me tell you. So for me, it's not a perfect life, but I'm when I eventually get that stand, we must do a handover of my stand. Unginigile phela in the last episode, ne? So maybe we should go and do like a handover of my stand.
when the time is ready,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
do
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Whenever. So if I get a bigger space, then I'll just do gardening and gardening and gardening and gardening and gardening. As many herbs, maybe over 30 herbs is what I'm dreaming about. Currently, I only have like 6 in my garden, and as many indigenous stuff as possible. Bengifuna ukuza namadumbe actually, because I wanted to talk about amadumbe. I think we can talk about it the next. I can have that conversation with all the subscribers in the next episode, because amadumbe, amabele, what's the other sort of good sweet potato? That's like my go-to starch now. That's like my go-to carbohydrate rather. Versus, and then of course brown rice, if you can get it organic. I normally buy it from Indian outlets that sell authentic organic Indian spices. They normally have black rice. Even I know the Chinese grocery outlets, sometimes you can get black rice from them. There's many different types of rice, but the point is to get a starch that is actually good for your body, mainly for your gut, and also primarily for how it reacts with sugar, because the biggest issue is this sugar problem, right? This insulin problem. So I just figured out, after my homeopath instructed me some years back to get rid of sugar, glucose, and lactose. I then found myself having to find a lot of replacement foods to replace all those things. But now that I've come onto this strictly vegetable fruit, the only vegetable I don't eat is potato, izambane. Not because it's a bad, nasty thing, but I'm just trying to not consume as much sugar as possible, because starch is sugar.
Yeah.
So sugar, starch, from mealie meal, your potatoes, rice, the white rice. The biggest one is your wheat, isn't the flour. So, but I found, now that I've listened to my homeopath and I've listened to my body, that's another thing. Listening to your body as you eat. Not like the next day, or ebusuku masolele nama cramps, or having a lot of phlegm in your system. As soon as you finish swallow something, if you want to know if it's good for you. And I found that works for me. Because I was asking this guy, my homeopath, I'm like, so how do I know if something is really bad for me? He's like, soon after eating, chew, ukwenye. Mawuqeda ukwinya. Just, that's why you need to eat in silence or solitude, because you could be many at the dinner table in your house, in your home, but the eating experience is between you and the food. So as soon as uqeda ukwinya, don't drink any water. Barbara O'Neill talks a lot about this. Don't drink water 30 minutes before you eat and 30 minutes after, to aid your digestion. And then during the eating, you're obviously eating the right food at the right time in the right quantity. But if you're not sure, this is a new thing and you really want to taste it, you want to know if it's good for you, chew it, eat it, and then just listen to your body. If you feel some mucus building up, amafinyela, you feel your sinus starting to clog up, there's no ways you can't make a direct relationship between what you've just put into your body and your body suddenly producing all this mucus. Because mucus, as much as it's good for you, it's there to help. It's part of your immune system. It's there to fight inflammation, and it responds quickly to something that's not okay.
Dr. Sebi says that. He says the
does,
cause
yes.
of every disease in the body is mucus.
If it's too much, because you do need, it's like everything in life is about balance. So you do need mucus in your body. That's why you have mucus.
And
you have
guys, please
mucus
go
cells.
research him and understand the context at which he says that. Because sometimes I don't want to chimberanga verse.
Chimberanga verse.
Yeah, uhamba ngeverse eliyi-1 ukuthi iBhayibheli liso.
Yeah.
Verse
No, but
eliyi-1.
also what it is, which is why I'm always saying this when we have this conversation, that no, mina ugogo wami ongikhulisile bekangafundanga at all in terms of Western education. She couldn't read and write really. She was illiterate, but she had knowledge, because knowledge is not. I mean, the fact that this whole notion about knowledge being acquired, yes, of course, through experience and application. You must apply what you know. That's how your brain cells even work faster, and you start to learn and to love the learning process. It's my problem with this. I can't say this about that plant. I can't say this about that plant is absolute nonsense. I was saying that earlier. We're natural beings. We're born naturally, and so the food we eat is natural. It's part of what was here on earth. We're supposed to eat the food, and the food we eat eats other food in order for it to become food for us, whether it's a plant or it's an animal. Because we do eat meat. I do eat meat, by the way. It's not like I don't eat meat. It's just that I've come off toxic carbs, sugar, and lactose and gluten. And so I have a problem with that, or constantly having to sanction, censor ourselves. Masikhuluma ngokudla, izinto esiyigcobayo, izinto esigeza ngayo, izinto ezisilaphayo emzimbeni. Because honest to God, like 200 years of capitalism, now I can't say anything natural about natural stuff as a natural being. I find that extremely dysfunctional and a bit narcissistic. Which every time sekumele sixolise ukuthi ini. I mean, now Vaseline comes from oil. Is made from what? I think crude oil. The oils that we make, that we use, that we eat come from food, grains, nuts, wherever, plants, trees, essential oils, different types of oils, carrier oils, coconut oil, olive oil, peanut oil, different types of nut oils. Oil, there's just oil. You have oil in you. Even in komo, it's got lots of different types of fat, and the fat can be used to. There's a friend of mine who Koliwe makes this beautiful hair. It's for your entire body, hair, skin, everything.
No,
From
Tombi from Afro Botanics. You do great
oh
work,
my
Sister.
God, Sister Tombi. I need to have
You know
Sister
her?
Tombi here. I
She's
know her. Do I know her?
amazing.
I've been on her podcast.
Oh, she's got
I
a
don't know if
podcast.
once
I
or
didn't know.
twice for her hair stuff.
Yes.
She
does natural
once
nappy hair
gave me
products, yeah.
Ntombenhle, right?
Guys, go look for Sis Ntombenhle. Go Google
You'll find
Afro,
her at
Afro,
Afrobotanics.
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 Yes.
Afrobotanics.
Yes.
By the way, I use her products all the time. She gave me an entire box.
Thank you.
I was so blessed. An entire box of amazing. I still have some of them, by the way. It was like 3 years ago that she gave me this box. Yeah, I gave away a couple of items. There'll always be a friend who feels like, why all this abundance for you only? And I had to give away some stuff. But she's got the most amazing products for your hair. So I was still telling you about Koliwe, who makes this butter. From what? Fat that comes from the belly of, I think, Koliwe, correct me if I'm wrong. It's either a cow or sheep or goat or all three. Just specific. So here's the thing. We have to talk about natural stuff and how we experience it when we use it, and share that, and others must do the same. And I think also what I want to encourage going forward is that even if Skulumange nuclear what in the next episode, because obviously we're going to ram it up a bit. We're going to ram it up and talk about the stuff that nobody really wants to talk about. Like, for instance, nuclear. I hear a certain person who's just launched a party, apparently, talking about, here's nuclear. No, the Apartheid National Party government developed nuclear long before whoever could start talking about it as a business deal. So we shouldn't, try to be, overly smart and, hoarding and hogging information and data and the chronology of how things happened when and all of that. Because as you were saying earlier in a previous conversation, I think I wanted to ask you about Zahara now that the funeral's gone. May her soul rest in peace. And thank you to her for all the beautiful music she gave us. What I wanted to say was, we shouldn't find ourselves in a space where we are being manipulated with knowledge, because I was talking about the freedom of knowledge and how my grandmother was not educated but had immense amounts of knowledge, was a brilliant, amazing farmer. She had massive yields of whatever that she planted year in, year out, was doing complement planting. Ngesintu, if you want to stop hojas and other diseases from attacking your plants, you plant other plants complementary with others, like Insango goes well with tomato, this and that will go, Amadumbe will go well with something else, Amabele will go. So when they come together, they all emit certain chemicals into the space where they are growing that kills off another bug. This one kills off that bug. So your roses must always have marigolds. I think I've spoken about that. There's loads. So that's indigenous farming methods. There was no toxic fertilizers used or even necessary, because even the soil, how the some of the stuff that you put into your compost to make sure that you have a good compost can be stuff that kills off hojas and stuff. And some of the hojas are important, like flies. Flies are good for compost because eventually they form part of the process of decomposing and forming earthworms and the worms that make the soil rich. So as long as they're far from your house, but they should be there, they're going to ziofa and help with the right bacteria to do this and do that, and eventually give you this dark, fluffy, extremely fertile soil. I produce my own compost. I don't buy fertilizer. I don't buy even weed killer. Most of the stuff that we call weeds are not really even weeds. They're very, very useful. But of course, some of them, thousands of the weeds, we still don't know what they do. But how are we going to know unless we try them out? And my thing is, I am anti-establishment. So that's what I was saying, is we are going to go into those rock hard conversations. But what I wanted to ask was, if whenever you have a beautiful natural product that you've just used or tried out in your kitchen, made from your garden or learned from a friend or on YouTube or TikTok or wherever you learned about it from, please share in the comments. We'll get into a habit of reading out some of them, and I'll test the ones that I think are great, make them at home. I'll get the ingredients, make them, and then come back and talk about it. And who knows, maybe we can get the person into a two-way conversation. I mean, it's digitized media. They don't have to be physically where we're at. If they're around Gauteng and they're able to pop by, or they happen to be gurus in the, whatever, that space of natural nutrition, skincare, wellness, the whole cosmology of natural products, we can then engage with them in real life, and they can actually come. I also want us to have a focus on people promoting their products on our platform. Of course, there's going to be a lot of advertising opportunities because we need to make money.
Yeah.
We need to earn a living. Everybody needs to earn a living.
Keep the lights on,
Our
yeah.
time needs to be paid for. There needs to be a value exchange. So yeah, people have to advertise a lot and do their promotions with us. We're going to do loads of promotions with Hustler's Corner, Virtual Mkuku, and the hip hop one.
State of the Game.
State of the Game,
Yeah.
State of the
Penuel
Game.
next door, the
Penuel.
shows,
There's so many people
his
that I haven't.
family, yeah.
Oh, by the way, I was at Kwanza this weekend, but I don't want to
Oh, you
talk
were
too
at
much.
Kwanza?
I want to
Okay.
come back to Kwanza just
Okay,
now.
we'll talk about it. But I
sorry.
wanted to say also,
I want you to talk to us about, with me rather, about your state of mind and heart and
Okay.
being since Zahara's passing.
yeah, Bulelo, rest in peace, Swami. I did a video after her passing. We're all sad. We're all shocked. She had a great career ahead of her.
Yeah.
An amazing vocalist, an
Yeah.
amazing writer. She's actually a poet. I did say, I was interviewed by Newsroom Africa and SABC1 when I was paying tribute to her, and I said, for me, in my mind, I'm seeing her becoming this person like Abu Mama Miriam Makeba.
Oh, yes.
Abu Brahu. I'm seeing her on stages all over the world at the ages of 70, and
Yeah.
that's what I always thought.
Yes, me too, actually.
Little did I know that we're gonna lose her so early.
36,
36, yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, when I met her, she was like hardly 23.
Wow.
And thank you to the family. Siyabonga, siyabulela kakhulu, to her sisters, her family, her mother, and just everyone who really embraced us working with her and bringing her to Joburg. And one other unsung hero who played a very big role in mentoring her before we put her out into the market was Usisi Nhlanhla,
Yes,
who took her
yes.
under her
Amazing.
wing, who allowed her to stay in their home. She was still married to my
Wow.
business partner at the time. And it's not easy for you to just bring in a 20-something-year-old girl
Into your home.
your marriage,
And
just go
any
thala
human being,
You know
yes.
what I mean? And this idea comes from your husband. Let's bring this young girl here. It's not an easy thing. I don't think I probably would have done it. I don't know. But my business partner did it, right? And
Yeah.
Mrs. Nhlanhla embraced
Yeah.
that idea.
Yeah.
Now, what I loved about what Mrs. Nhlanhla
Womanism
did,
101.
what I loved about what Mrs. Nhlanhla did, you can tell I'm not vooming to your womanism or
I'm calling it that.
A woman.
I'm calling it womanism.
No, not
I'm
only
calling it
womanism. What's the other one?
womanism.
'Cause you once told us
Feminism, but I'm
about
calling
the
it
difference between
womanism.
womanism and feminism.
Yeah, for
But
me,
we'll talk
yeah,
about it,
yeah.
There is a video where you talk, episode where you talk
Yes,
about the
where I
difference.
talk about it in
So
detail.
what I liked about what she did was she embraced her, she mentored her,
Yeah.
she made her become the person that when she did well in the public, the record company got all the praise.
Yeah.
We got the praise, DJ Smooth, TS Records,
Yes.
CK, but the actual person who did the incredible job in mentoring that young, amazing sister was Mrs. Nhlanhla. Until today, I mean, she's been quiet. I've not spoken to her in quite some time. And
So I need to talk to her.
she's an incredible
I know
human
you and
being.
her can
I
talk
would love
about
to see that
music and
episode.
whatever,
I'd love
but
to
I
see
think
that
I want to
episode.
talk to her because I used to love that song. Yeah, okay, it's more than 20 years old.
Which one? The Mafikizolo one? Or
Yeah,
Solo
yes,
album?
yes, yes, Mfuleni.
Yeah.
The romantic one.
Mlanjeni.
Yeah, yasemlanjeni.
No, no, no,
Yasemlanjeni.
no, no,
I really would
it
love.
was with Untando. It was no. It
No,
was
it was
the song. It was
Mafigizolo. Yeah, I
Mlanjeni.
think it was the three of them. Yes, that's the one. I'm not even going to try and say.
But anyway, I just wanted to give her props, and it brings in a lot of beautiful memories, man. The work we did with Zahara, how we put together that project, how we built the brand, how we went out there, and just the years that we worked together. It was an incredible, beautiful experience that I'll never forget.
Yeah,
and
I can
understand
imagine.
sometimes that when things happen, there's a tendency of our legacy being
Trashed.
Easily by whatever is out there,
though.
right? It's okay. I mean, I understand. I've been in the industry for quite some
No.
time.
We shouldn't understand it too much. I appreciate that you understand, and I want to say also sorry for the barrage of really not just unfair and unjust, but just cruel and crude, insults that some we don't know beings, have been spewing out there. But fortunately, it's
It's documented.
outdone by the positive.
Yeah. The positive is too great.
Yeah.
And I'm
Even our
grateful.
bodies have bad bacteria. That's how you end up getting sick when the bad bacteria becomes more. So you do need the nasties, but to also keep you on your toes and keep you in check, and also to check whether you're doing stuff. Because when people aren't really talking about you, saying anything, I mean, you've been in your industry for decades.
Yeah, it's 2
and
decades
usually
now,
people, it's very difficult to outlast even yourself and your own legacy. And when you are rock star as they come. I mean, there's just such an amazing, I don't know, like even where to start. So that kind of rock star shine, is very blinding. It's extremely blinding. It can even be intoxicating to you as the host. And, the source of all of this creativity, this generosity, this innovation, this entrepreneurial. I mean, who would have guessed, like today, when you started off at YFM and whatever else you were doing before YFM, at Mandisa DJing, doing your things, that you'd be this illustrious business person crawling your way out of SARS debt.
Yo, sis Mandisa. And by the way, I still advise young people, get your taxes in order, get that right accountant, get that legal person, even if you can't afford them, even if it's your uncle or it's somebody you know in your street, let somebody help you from the beginning of your career. You don't want to make those mistakes and find yourself entangled in a lot of bigger mistakes in the future.
But where I was going with
Yes,
it
ma'am.
was saying, was adding to these voices, these dark voices, these creepy crawly voices of nasties. Umkhuba, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Umkhuba othize wethu as abantu, which is why I was saying we shouldn't endure it, we shouldn't tolerate it. We should note it, we should see it, we should identify it for what it is, but we shouldn't endure and tolerate it because it's very debilitating and it's very regressive and it's very idonselana phansi, not just the person that you think you're dragging down, but you yourself. And also it's creating a culture of dragging and a culture of the opposite of creating. Because yes, while I'm creating, like when I'm making a little product, somebody tells us an idea. Oh, I've been using this for my skin, for my blackheads. I've got a blackhead that doesn't go away. And I go and try it out. I might get a little red pimple or reaction. That's a negative thing. But I might learn one thing or two while I'm making that concoction. Say, oh, there's this and that. Replace it. What does this do? Oh, this brings a lot of vitamin C into the thing. Vitamin C is good for the skin. So because I can't use the mango for the vitamin C, the mango leaf for the mango peel, let me take another source. Let's use a strawberry berry paste for the vitamin C. And so we learn through these nasties. But here's the thing. The reality is that if your name, or if you weren't big, if you weren't shining, if you weren't illustrious, if you weren't creative, if you weren't bringing new things, if you weren't co-creating and creating with yourself, if you weren't just amazing, they wouldn't even talk about they wouldn't even sit down and come up with nasty things to say. Because who would they be saying it about? A non-entity. Because you are a somebody. You are a big somebody. if they're going to make a noise about a nobody's going to be sharing their stuff. So they try. It's almost like it's not. It's like a leech, like a like a parasite in your gut that guzzles all the sugar, and you think you're addicted to sugar. You're not. It's the worm that's eating the sugar that's making you eat more sugar. So you need to kill the worm or kill the supply for the sugar. They have to talk about you, because if they talk about somebody else that nobody that's not doing anything of any use, their conversation won't go anywhere. So maybe it's people abazama ukuduma nabo. So we need to teach them ukuthi no, ungaduma mangabe ufuna ukuduma. But there's constructive ways zokuduma, not ukuzama ukugibela umuntu whose sun is shining. That's SARS problem is everybody's problem. I had it not so long ago. Well, fortunately, I taught myself to do my own taxes. I wanted to add when you were saying what people can do to. You can teach yourself how to do your taxes. It's very simple. It's about expenditure. What are you spending your money on? The thing that you are spending your money on. Here's the key question. If you want to know if SARS can reimburse you, is that thing spurring on economic activity elsewhere? So are you buying fuel? Are you fixing your car? Are you buying courses towards your trade in your business? Are you paying for service providers that are coming to make your business better? Are you learning? Are you traveling? Are you going to meetings? So is this activity encouraging more economic activity? If it is, SARS rewards you for it. Even when you've made losses. Or let me put it this way, especially when you've made losses. So the two ladies that I'm working with from the NXCA network, they are actually tax specialists. We're going to have them on this platform.
Oh, that would be great.
Brilliant young girls. One is a CA. The other one is a tax specialist, accountant. Registered. They're all registered. The CA is registered with SICA. Very young girls. They're probably 30, if not under 30. Running their own businesses, doing many, many things, many amazing things. But they can help you with your taxes in your business. Of course, you must put away some money to get a proper tax specialist. But I'm agreeing with you. The basics you can teach yourself. But once you're doing tax for your business, you do need to get a tax consultant who can help you with those taxes, because you can get money back, especially like I was saying, if you've made losses. I don't want to go in detail because I'm not an accountant and I'm not a tax specialist. But I read tax laws when I've got a confusion about a tax. I consult, people in my life who are experts at taxation, etc. I'm a governance freak. I like financial governance as a subject. Sometimes I'll just, I used to have to read the Treasury regulations a lot. I used to have to read the Public Finance Management Act for government and the Municipal Finance Management Act. But before all of that, before that life, I had to read a lot of the King Code series on good governance. Not just for my work, because I've always been in corporate communications and financial PR and different streams, consumer PR. I've been in very many different fields in PR, but one of my major specializations when I was working in PR and communications in corporate was on the financial governance and the good governance side. So you had to read a lot of the King Code. But this might sound heavy and boring. It's not. If you need to do your taxes every year, keep as many of your receipts as possible. Rather let the tax practitioner oxidize or the SARS consultant oxidize. Because, by the way, you must go to SARS directly. Go to SARS offices and ask to see a consultant. They give you a ticket in the queue, like when you go to the licensing department or wherever to pay for all these millions of taxes, batalayo, and they help you to actually do your submissions. They can tell you don't need these receipts. Rather go with more receipts than with fewer, so that you know which are those expenses that are tax deductible, which means potentially refundable to you. And then SARS gives you back within 3 days of successful submission, even if there was what they call not an objection, I think from inside SARS, when they have to review your submission after you've submitted, you and your consultant, and then they review it for whatever they want. I think I owe SARS 2,000 when they paid me some money, but they had overpaid me by 2,000, but it was like really minuscule compared to what they paid me. But it's all thanks to the NXCA network ladies that I was able to start the process of cleaning up my business entity and making sure that it's properly tax compliant, and that I can also be in good standing. Because once you're not tax compliant, the risk of now risking the registration of your company with CIPC becomes, because at some point CIPC and SARS and all these other entities do interlink. And so you need to be upstanding so that you can keep your company. Because here's another little trick that I learned long ago in PR. The age of your company matters. That's why I was so upset. I had registered my company in 2001 for the first time, but only really started using it in 2003, 4. The first time I went out into formal entrepreneurship. I lost that name. It was a CC, but it was still the same company, the Mill Holdings, but it was the Mill PR and Communications, so it was specific to PR and comms, and it was a CC. But I lost the name because somebody defrauded me out of the name. And during a time when this CC was sort of dormant, but I was doing my CIPC audits every year, because you have to do your CIPC audits and your tax submissions. But during that time, somebody defrauded me and I didn't think it was worth fighting for. I was just lucky years later when I needed to resuscitate it, I think in 2020, I then reopened it. I tried to see if my company was still there, if I could pay some penalty to get it back. The age of the company matters a lot. So the longer you can keep your company, I know it seems like a stupid thing. I think there'll be many other intelligent reasons why this matters. But when something is older, it carries more credibility. So even if your company was dormant for a while, keep it active year in, year out. Do those CIPC audits, do those tax submissions. Tax submission can be inactive, didn't do business this year, but you're keeping the registration, the ID number of your company alive, because it starts with the year in which it was registered.
I watched one of the political campaign debates between Donald Trump, ex-president in the US, and Hillary Clinton. And Hillary Clinton said a comment along the lines of Trump's tax issues and how he was able to take advantage of the tax laws in the US
Yes.
to even make himself more money. And what Trump said was, he didn't deny that he had done that. He said, of course I did that.
Yeah.
Just like a whole lot of your other funders were not Hillary Clinton that fund you and that are the elite, etc. And you know how Trump is. As much as he would be like that, he would also probably be part of the problem.
Add himself. No, he has add that.
Yeah, but what I liked about it was something along the lines of, you can use the tax laws to benefit you. And I've also once heard a gentleman who inspires me, whom I've had the pleasure of speaking alongside him on numerous times, actually 3 times. I have to mention that. And he changed my life financially. He's getting older now. Robert Kiyosaki, right?
Oh, wow. You've had a chance to interview Robert Kiyosaki?
3 times. I've spoken with him.
How and when?
I've spoken on the same platforms with him 3 times. Success Resources, Leadership 2020 at the Scientific Convention Center. 4,000 people, 3 times. Amazing gentleman. What I learned from him also is exactly that. Wherever he travels with his business manager.
Yeah.
Which he's also a tax expert or consultant, whatever you want to call it. And he says you can actually use tax or the tax laws of your country if you understand them and study them well, or if you have the right people around you. To use that as a loophole or to use those laws to benefit you. And then he was saying that's what rich people do.
So what I was saying earlier about the fact that SARS looks at your expenditure, the extent to which you'll be punished is the expenditure of your business. So if you're investing, good, you're buying raw materials to make your products, you're paying people to do the work, all that stuff is expenditure to grow the business. But expenditure is also what? It's economic activity, because money should change hands and swap hands. But what if everybody in that value chain is moving the money to do stuff that's growing their own businesses? That's what you want. That's what SARS wants, because then you're expanding the economic cake. Think about it. If a company collapses financially and it's no longer able to run, it's not just the employees that are losing jobs, it's thousands of other people, suppliers and logistics people in the value chain, etc., etc. So like the universe is a constantly moving thing, money is part of that energy. It's the same as the universe. The minute it stops moving and it sits in one space, there's an economic suffering that's going to happen in the space where that money should be moving. And so the tax laws are designed, by the way, capitalistically so, designed to encourage you to use that money and to profit from using it and saving, of course, a certain amount of hoarding. But even in that saving and investing, money is also being moved, right? Isn't that what stockbrokers do? They move money around and grow it here. Well, I mean, I'm not an expert, but I mean, it's logic. And so for me, oh, by the way, yeah, on that Robert Kawasaki, is it Kiyosaki?
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know who I really want to talk to one day? Like my dream interviews, I've got lots of them. Vandana Shiva.
I want to speak to Dr. Shiva. Whenever you want to speak to Vandana Shiva, I want to speak to Dr. Shiva. Dr. Shiva is the guy who started email. But anyway, continue.
Vandana Shiva.
I think he's running for president in the US for now, yeah?
Yeah. He's one of my favorites. The Indian guy.
Yeah, we've got.
Is he related to Vandana Shiva? I'm pretty sure they
have to
are.
be somehow. I don't know.
Oh, amazing guy.
But we've got a locked up interview in February with
Oh,
Dr. Shiva.
okay. So I want to be in there.
Yeah. Oh, you're in it. Oh, consider it done. Yeah.
I love him. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
It'll even be a better interview with you in it.
Oh no, that's amazing because so Vandana Shiva, like my dream conversations. Russell Brand. Super dream. If I can have a conversation with Russell Brand, I'll save up money and pay to have that conversation with Russell Brand. I want to have a conversation with, I don't want to be too controversial, but yeah, it would be really nice to talk with Donald Trump one day.
Okay.
I know it might seem like a crazy,
it's in the universe, already happened.
It would be so super amazing. Then there's obviously many people in South Africa that I want to have conversations with, like super amazing.
I'm looking forward to your podcast.
Amazing people.
I'm looking forward to this becoming something amazing, man.
I would have loved to have a conversation with Umama Wangari Maathai, Professor Wangari Maathai, but she's late. I always dreamed of having a conversation with Wangari Maathai. She's like my dream person, one of my dream persons. Also. Absolutely amazing. There are there are just so many people. I would have loved one day to have had a conversation with Brenda Fassie. I would have given anything to have a conversation with Michael Jackson. I would have given anything to have a conversation with Madonna. There are just so many super, super, super amazing people that I would love to talk to. Many of them still alive and actually do stuff with them. You know, the seed exchange program that I'm always talking about?
Yeah.
I know one day it's going to manifest. I went to the Kwanza, I was saying, on Kwanza started on the 26th of December at Lebu's, not BNB, but Backpackers.
For us who don't know, what is Kwanza?
So I can't really give you a definition of Kwanza except something that I could Google. It was my first time attending Kwanza. A friend of mine was going and I said, no, I wanted to go. I don't commemorate Christmas because I'm not Christian, but I respect all the religious holidays that people have and religious commemorations and celebrations or observations or tributes to certain specific dates according to different religions. But for me, Kwanza was appealing because I don't know its history. I do know a little bit from the guys that were hosting it. Sorry, I'm forgetting the name of this amazing mama who was actually the host and the organizer this year, and the two program. Oh, by the way, I won a raffle thing giveaway, and I took my gift.
What did you win?
I won, and I wanted to bring it. I'll bring it next time. A book, a coffee table book, a tribute.
Oh, nice.
A collection of tribute to Eskiam Pahlele.
Oh.
A little Ndebele doll, yes. the ones that you can put up on like a display or by your study desk. 3 different fabrics, one from Uganda, a beautiful piece of fabric from Uganda. I'm going to make an outfit out of it and wear it one of these days in one of the shows. A Swazi cloth, you know, the one with the what do you call it, the spear? You know, the Swazi cloth that most Nyanga wear. I got that. I can see it making a beautiful look. I won 3. Oh, and then I won an apron with Ndebele design and some. I can't remember the name of the designer, but you know, like the designer that makes the jersey, that something similar to that designer. I think it's a local designer. Umakhosa, yeah. But I'm not sure who's the designer. Sorry.
Duma, the designer, but the name of the brand is Makhosa.
So it was so nice because when I bought the raffle tickets, I said to the guy who was selling, "I'm gonna win."
So you put it out there. So you're
intentional. I said, I'm winning
it.
Yeah. And I'm buying 5 tickets, so 20 Rand each.
Yeah.
I bought 5, and then the first 3, he gave me the tickets, and then I had to write them down. So because I have to take my slip, he must get his slip. So I had to write my number on his slip so that it corresponds. And then I said to him, no, stop giving me the tickets. I need to know my number. I'm paying for the damn raffle ticket. I want to choose my own numbers, so I chose my own numbers. I'm not gonna tell you my numbers. So and then the number that I said this one is gonna win me the thing is the number that won me the raffle.
Wow, nice.
And yeah, so I'm so like, yeah, it's amazing. It's nice to win, you know? Winning, like it's like getting something right. It's like when you have a challenge, when you have a problem, and you get into it, you attack it. You don't have to be wild, but and then score a win or a victory in the process of tackling that problem. It gives you such an adrenaline rush.
And that's how big winners, or they call them overachievers, other people. It's through little wins.
Yeah.
Little wins sort of pump you up and give you more confidence.
Yeah.
And the more you win, the more confident you become, and the more you believe that whatever else that you get into, you're going to overcome or win, right? And for me, and I can say that because that's what has worked in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I always have a mindset that says, okay, cool, you're gonna get into energy drinks now. You know nothing about that. You're gonna get ridiculed. Who the hell do you think you are? That you're gonna. But I'm like, Smuda, whatever I touch tends to platinum, and that's my motto. That's how I've convinced myself, right?
Yeah.
So even though it might be untrue, but I've convinced myself that whatever I touch tends to success, and that is me. And then you get to find that all those little wins, at some point, they culminate into the bigger wins. So it's extremely important for those small wins, even us as parents, right? Our kids.
Yeah.
Those little wins are extremely important. And all of you guys out there who are hustling, never take for granted your little wins. That's why I like it when you guys celebrate. Yes, we're not saying go too crazy, pop 100 champagnes and tontone, but celebrate your little wins, because those wins are the ones that make you believe that actually you can, you are going to, you belong,
you understand,
capable.
you
know what I
feel,
mean?
you believe, you see, you touch. In fact, to me, there's no little win and big win.
A win is a win.
Yeah, because for me, that excitement, like when you solve a problem. So chess players normally, they are addicted to that. It's the hurdle of overcoming
an
obstacle, an adversity, a challenge, a problem. When it looked like it was all tangled, when you've got a necklace, a chain that just tangles, and you're so upset, and it's thin and tiny, and the more it tangles, the more you're getting frustrated because you need to wear it. And you need to untangle it. So the more each chain that you unlock, and it becomes undone, and it becomes loosened up, and it actually becomes untied, and it opens up, and you can wear it, you can put it on. It's like you get so happy. 10,000 rand in your bank account that you didn't expect. It's a win. And there's a neurological way. Oh, by the way, Dr. Caroline Leaf, I just wrote her name down. Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Oh, shout out to Joe Dispenza. He's amazing.
Mamela, I'd love to attend. I'm working towards. I remember that. I remember that on YFM, yeah?
Yeah, YFM.
He does retreats and stuff, and I'm saving up. He's one of the experiences that I'm saving up for. Oh yes. By the way, I met at Kwanza Nomsa Mazwai.
Wow, you met Nomsa.
She accompanied me on stage to get my prize at Kwanza.
We've got music together.
No! This is not happening.
Not Thandiswa's sister.
Nomsa, yes.
Yes, you're the social
yes.
Superstar, right?
Yes.
Nomsa Mazwai. Yeah, that's my sister.
Yes.
We've got 2 songs together.
I didn't even know this.
Yeah,
so this is amazing because I was meeting her for the first time.
By the way, Kabo sis Thandiswa, bonke laba.
I know. They are geniuses. He's a genius himself. I'm sure Noma Wabo, may her soul rest in peace.
Maybe 15 years ago. And
she's so...
We just became people.
She looks like a kid to me.
And when she came back to South Africa, she's like, I'm back in the country. You're the person that and then we started, and then,
her voice.
She is an amazing human being.
She sang, I think, 2 or 3 songs at Kwanza. Because they had a nice stage. We need to go and visit Lebu's Backpackers. Amazing history. The old man who started it, Lebu, I think he's late, may his soul rest in peace, died a few years ago, I think. It's amazing. It's a beautiful space. It's just amazing. So how I met her husband was talking to me about Inzalo Ilanga 2022, the tour.
Oh my goodness. I even just remembered the song. Because she's
Please,
speaking about
please.
Inzalo Elang. We recorded the song around Inzalo Elang time.
Oh,
I
wow.
think 2 years ago.
Wow.
Sis Nom, say if you're watching this, if somebody is watching this, go tag her on her social media. Sis Tandiswa's sister. And shout outs also to Sis Nsiki.
Nsiki, yes.
Anyway,
Amazing.
the song goes, I remember the hook. It says, na ni na na ni na ni na na ni, something like that. But anyway, I'll play it for you guys. I'm just so excited because Nyaz good nom niggas why was this nom so because we recorded that night.
Oh, but you recorded
great
it.
time, and then she left. Yeah.
And then when are you
but
working
she doesn't
on it?
know how brilliant that song sounds.
When are you?
The two
is
songs
it
are
done?
they're in my upcoming
In your
album.
oh, okay,
Yeah, my
amazing.
upcoming album. I haven't released music in a long
Amazing.
time.
I know.
My
I was one of
upcoming
the people
album, yeah.
screaming and shouting
Yes,
about
ma'am.
about
Yeah,
you going back to
but I
music
just
again.
got too
No,
excited.
no, 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 no. I'm happy because it's such like it's just amazing because I was meeting her for the first time. Her husband was talking to me about Inzalo, and he was basically introducing me to her and saying, "Oh, you need to talk to Mandisa because Mandisa has got these crazy ideas. She's just this crazy person, and she has these crazy ideas, and you're gonna love." So I'm explaining to her, she's like, What's this Inzalo Yelanga thing and whatever?" And we're talking about. I think she also has passion for tourism as an industry. So I was talking to her about. I was saying to her how we got to do the tour, and I said, "Look, the tourism is one of the business streams that I'm focusing on, ecotourism." So that conversation was sparked through Smooth's conversations with Umkhulu Nsingis and whatever, and me having to have these conversations with Smooth. And then this comes up, and I'm like, "Oh, by the way, actually, this is how tourism starts through pilgrimages, etc., etc." But my personal, private little corner in relation to Inzalo Yelang is just one component. I love the entire thing, but I have one thing that I am focusing on, and that is, and I'm going to share too much about it, and that is capitalizing on the flow issue for us as Africans. For me, I'm very convinced, and I know I'm going to be slated for this, but I'm very convinced that part of the reason why we are the only race group on earth that doesn't seem to have it together in terms of being able to build and own value chains from primary production right up to the end user, and the recycling value chain now, which is back to produce raw materials in the world. Why we are the only people who can't do that as African people or black people is because we're not collaborating. And because we're not collaborating, and the reason we're not collaborating, this is my hypothesis, by the way. Anybody who wants to prove me wrong, please, you're more than welcome. I'll be more than happy to sit and read the study of why you're saying this is nonsense. We're not collaborating because we're not flowing together. I know that the popular opinion is that we're not collaborating over Snomona. Yes, Snomona, vele. It's a very big, ugly disease. The pull her and pull him down thing. Criticize for the sake of criticizing, talk nonsense, bring somebody's name down. We talked about it. That's there, but all humanity has that problem. We might have it to a much more denser extent. Like, we might have it on a more serious note. Like, we might have it on a more concentrated dosage. We might have it in a stronger, more potent, version than we should. I think. I don't know. But the reason we're not collaborating is not only because of Umona. Primarily, it's because we're not in sync. The reason we are not in sync, which means we're not synchronizing with one another. And if you can't collaborate without synchronizing. So I was just talking about who I met at Kwanza, and there's many other wonderful people. And I happened to mention somebody that you already have recorded 2 songs with, and you have a long history with. You know this person on the same sort of level that I met her on, the same sort of mood or wavelength or vibration that I think. So because of that, there's flow. There's collaboration. Collaboration can come later, but there can't be collaboration until there's synchronization, alignment, being in tune. Like Mancula, some must follow this tune, otherwise go by a mess. But even the mess in rap and hip hop can also be organized and can also have a certain frequency, melody, and a vibration. I think that's our biggest problem. And so my interest in Inzalo is that component of the calendar. I think that magically, I know this sounds stupid, but I think magically, if we all start following the same cycle for what makes up a year in terms of the current science that we have, it's 365 days plus or minus that make up a year, some years shorter, some longer. Once we can start working with that flow, yoguti, cosmically, and in terms of how the universal science is coordinated, how a year, where a year starts, which is what your new year, right? So where a year starts and where a year ends and what happens in between, and how the universe then gives you this during this season, that during that season, this during this weather, that during that climate, this during this, all the shifts, the energies. I think that that will give us the synchronization or synchronicity that we need. And that synchronization will help us to find points of collaboration with each other. And that's my only interest. And that's what her and I resonated with. And she was like, we need to meet and have coffee. So we're having coffee.
I know you guys are going to get along well together. I'm looking forward to also watching a conversation
Yes,
between the two of you guys.
she's definitely coming here.
And I also would like to thank Sis Mandisa for being the icon that she is.
Yeah.
And I just want to humble myself and thank her for the time she gave us, myself and Paul Mnisi Wemvula, who's doing the afternoon show there at Radio 2000. It's always been,
And how he's brought that slot to life, eh?
yeah, amazing, you know. So I just want to thank you, Sis Mandisa, and just, you know, just you being the incredible human being that you are. And just ukubonga abazali bakho umsebenzi omuhle abawenzile ukusinikeza nina. And with that being said, I also don't want to leave out Usisinsiki Mazwai.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
We need those voices. Those voices are necessary, right?
With Moya.
And with that being said, I know you've blocked me, Sisinsiki. I don't know what for.
Oh, okay.
Because even
what
if
have you
drag
done?
Me, I don't know.
What did you do?
But even if you drag me, Sisinsiki, you know, I don't have any enemies in this industry. I love all of you guys.
Yeah.
And you know, when you guys drag me, I always acknowledge to say, okay, cool. What are you guys dragging me for now? It's okay. Okay, let me account.
Oh, you were dragged?
I'm not one of those people that become defensive and be like,
yeah.
I understand. I come from the Shwashu era, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been through this so much. So I don't
oh my
take
God,
these
I can't
things
believe you
personal.
still remember Shwash.
Yeah, so
Shwash was so toxic. Shwash.
I can't believe I'm saying Obaba. Sesibadala babamduduza Dlamini. Yabona manje imisebenzi esayenza, then as we grow older, you know, the legacy follows us. And shout out to Upu Charles Mulele. But I want to give you your props, Sisinsiki Mazwai. I know that sometimes you either are misunderstood. Some people don't know you in person. Some people take some of your social commentary and your Pan-Africanism personal. And they actually don't understand that a lot of the times it's your ideologies and what you believe in and what you stand for. It's not because that person, you know him, Usbu, I think I'm criticized.
Yeah.
There's people like me who understand what you stand for and what you're about. So even when you drag me or even whatever happens, I'm one of those people, you know, who understand it from a bigger picture.
Yeah.
So I also want to acknowledge our sister, Sisinsiki Mazwa. Unkulunkulu akubusise nawe siswami. You've got an amazing, necessary voice.
Yes.
In South Africa.
In
and
fact,
thank you for that.
I'm so grateful that you've said that, and I really want to echo that. I really also want to say thank you to Usisinsiki for everything that she does. You know, I was sharing that sunscreen knowledge about the aloe. That's not something I researched. I normally research a lot of the stuff myself. Tsiki actually shared that information with me. We were in the Northwest, and thanks for saying that, because I wanted to say it earlier. I always share where I get stuff from.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, by the way, I think we're talking about the beach and how I love to go to the sea, and I'm always in the sea, any opportunity I get. And we're talking about sunscreen, this and that. We're in the Northwest. We're paying a tribute, both of us, to Mom Grace Masugu before she became
Mama
late.
Grace, man, so rest in
We were
peace.
doing a birthday tribute. We were invited by Charles.
Charles
Ndabeni.
Ndabeni.
Charles, knowledge.
Charles, we need your
knowledge guru. Charles is coming here.
I'm looking forward to a conversation
because we still need to bring it back.
Charles, yeah.
Because also, you know, Charles and I share this passion for tourism together.
Yeah.
But he has got the most super amazing insights, knowledge, and vision for Africa's tourism.
I know. He's also
for
another
Africa's
unsung
tourism.
Hero. He's a
Completely.
silent gem.
I mean, the Northwest tourism before, you know, let's say the era of the post, the democratic era of South Africa. Before that, during the apartheid era, I think all of us knew Northwest mainly for Sun City and this and that. But they've got the most amazing game reserves, the most amazing indigenous wildlife, amazing, amazing asset base in terms of biodiversity. So Charles, big up to Charles and Dabeni. I'm definitely going to have Charles here one day. We were going to do something with Charles and Coco Grace Masugu. Remember you and I?
And then she passed on.
So Ntsiki shared
you
that.
introduced me to Coco Grace Masugu because every time when I would speak of the late great Coco,
she passed on earlier this
Kepo
year.
Credo Mutra,
Yes.
you would tell me of Coco Grace.
Grace, yes.
And then I was so looking forward to meeting her and having a convo with her.
Oh,
Sadly, she passed on.
but we've got amazing, amazing memories with her. Her funeral was brilliant. So Ntsiki shared that with me when we were doing a tribute. I think it must have been in 2021. Charles invited us to do that tribute for one of her birthdays. I think she was 80 something. Yes. And what is for me amazing about the work that Brother Charles but Ntsiki Mazwai does.
Ntsiki, yeah.
And what you were saying earlier about, and what we were talking about earlier about the negativity, or rather the dark comments and toxic, vitriol, often that comes out of people's mouths, based on people sharing their intellectual knowledge or intellectual property, which is their knowledge, for me is another sign of the great stupidity, because I can't speak for Ntsiki or anybody else, but when somebody has got intense knowledge and is able to draw conclusions and is able to put together information from different sources, from their own knowledge, their own research, their own content, and even unlearning in the process of their unlearning stuff, and especially in the decolonization space, when Ntsiki is well renowned for. In that space, information is new and fresh. There is no old version that you can go yoitintita from Bible. Yes, you might get facts and chronological events, how they happened during this era, that era, who did what. And then putting all of that together does require dynamic intellectual, thinking. And most of that thinking is not a common thing to find. So Ntsiki has got an immense capacity in that space.
And young people tend to misunderstand people like her. She's like voices like about Dr. Umar Johnson.
You should be saying thank you to what she says every time. Especially when she says something and you start to feel a heavy emotion.
Even if it's directed against your own ideologies.
It gives you heavy cognitive dissonance and it makes you feel angry immediately. Why is she saying that? And I'm crazy. That's when you should stop yourself
and listen.
Breathe in, breathe out.
And
listen and say, oh, that's beautiful new information.
Now that I'm bringing in Dr. Umar, just quickly, just for the young guys, it's like when Dr. Umar was talking about Eminem, it was not a direct attack on Eminem as an individual, as a human being, but for what he stands for as a Pan-Africanist. Those were his opinions as far as that's concerned. It doesn't mean he's a hater of Eminem. No, he's not your ordinary social barking. Somebody who tweets, or somebody with just an idea, or who's an artist, or who's trying to, neither here nor there. He doesn't get sponsorships from nobody. He's a Pan-Africanist, and people like that are like that unapologetically. And any issue, they approach it from that ideology. So that's basically what I'm trying to say about Ntsiki Mazwai. That's my understanding.
No, that's a perfect analogy to create, because also with him, he's not just any old Pan-Africanist based on 70-year-old Pan-Africanist views. Because we are not 70 years old. We're not 100 years old. We're not 300 years old. We're not 3,000 years old. On this earth, we've been here for like ever, right? And so every era has got its own
Martin Luther King, Mama Winnie
intelligentsia.
Intelligentsia, yes,
ma'am. Every generation has its own talents, has its own gifts that are passed on from the previous generation or previous generations. And so what I like about Omar, he contests the contemporary standard average view of Pan-Africanism a lot. And if you really listen to him properly, he's very clear about that. He'll tell you which version of Pan-Africanism he agrees with and he can resonate with, but which version he tends to, move towards based on the previous versions. That's exactly what makes him elicit such strong emotions from those people that sometimes you don't know whether I'm talking to a 10-year-old la. I'm I'm talking to umuntu drop out with standard 3. I'm talking to umuntu oyidakwe lophuza ama-hunters amaningi udakiwe manje ufunde le nto mamela wathi uyabheda lo uyadawa. Like you can't be taking those things personally.
Yeah.
You can't be actually internalizing any of the inputs, and I respect them. I really respect all the inputs made by subscribers, made on social media, because you just don't know, especially laba bagama wabo kuwabo user.
But also our young people.
What's happening? Mina Mandisa Mashego on TikTok. It's the only social network I have left.
All over social media.
I mean, yeah, but like I don't know, like it's okay. That's my real name.
Yeah.
And so Mark figure one of those crawlers.
User number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Baba
7.
Biza my bots or something.
Yeah,
When those people come up, the ones that we were talking about earlier, we were giving them too much credence. They don't deserve their attention. But bayahlekisa. No, but bayahlekisa. When they make those comments and then they say all these crazy things, it's like when you read the comment and you can see grammatically, grammar.
Yeah.
Before the meaning. Whether uyibhale ngesilungu or uyibhale ngelwimi lakubo is neither here nor there. Grammar yakhona, the laws of the language, of how the language words are used, the punctuation, the lack of conjunctions, which means joining words, or inappropriate conjunctions, on instead of at, to instead of at, even sometimes, right? And you're like, but lo muntu lo akaphilanga kahle. It's like nalento ayibhalela doesn't make sense. Nalento azama ukuyidefenda or azama ukuyilwisa. And so sometimes it's a 6-year-old who's just a very good writer for the age yakhe. But now uyafuna ungena kule debate ngoba uhlakaniphile kahle kahle sasemncane. So kune information anganayo. So uvele wamamela lento eyi-1. But these are boundary pushers. Unsiki Mazwai is a boundary pusher. And when she pushes a boundary, it's very important to actually firstly say thank you for saying what you've just said, especially if it's something that's new to my head. It's new information. Instead of reacting in an overwhelmed way, I'm actually just going to listen to it carefully, sleep on it a few nights, and then come back and see if I even still need to make a comment. Because you don't always have to make a comment. You don't have to talk. Just exercise some self-restraint sometimes. But ma user vele, you can just talk whatever nonsense you want because asquaz.
With that being said, I also would like to acknowledge some of the people that make South African Twitter very interesting and intelligent. Yes, there's other people who go the entertainment route, the music route, the soccer route, sports route, etc. Entertainment, music, whatever it is, right? There's accounts like Abo, people whom you would love to hate on Twitter. I want to give a big shout out and props to Superior Zulu. Thank you for the knowledge you're dropping. I want to give a big shout out to, is it Lend Noli? Lend?
Yes.
Lend Noni.
I remember that account when I was still on Twitter.
PT Evaluator.
Yeah. Yes, PT Evaluator.
Advocate.
Advocate.
Advocate, I think, is now one of the biggest followed accounts on Twitter.
Yeah.
Million,
oh wow.
Chris Excel.
Is he dropping more files on Abotabo Pesa?
I don't know. I'm just saying I love those. I don't always agree with those types of voices.
Yeah.
But I'm saying those voices are necessary.
Of course.
So I wanna give them shout outs because nobody speaks about them all the time. And it's them that
it would be so nice to have them on the platform.
TK something, others they don't want to appear. And there's TK something, she's an amazing lady also who tweets all of them. And there's also obviously Chris Excel. I don't know if Penuel is gonna agree with me on this one. Shout outs to Chris Excel. I love the content. I also have to shout out
your favorite, Batubani.
I don't have any favorites. I love them all. I love everyone, man. I don't judge people.
Batubani lo munye.
Musa Kaula. Is Musa Kaula around or is he in prison? Is he in a court case or what's going on? Because I heard apparently he's being, doesn't matter. But I just like the fact that he created a platform, ran with it. Right or wrong, we all make mistakes. We learn to become better people. I've never met anyone, even if you've dragged me in the past, Musa. I'm just proud of you for seeing a niche.
Sounds like Draga because maybe they didn't have content for that day, like I said.
Right.
So, what the hell? I've got nothing to talk about. Hey, Usbu, he's too big on these pages. Definitely, I'm gonna have, what do they call it, views?
or whatever it is engagement.
Yeah. I'm gonna reel them
But
in.
these are the people that make, we call it Black Twitter. Yeah,
Black Twitter, yeah.
in South Africa.
Yeah.
Exciting and interesting.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
just that sometimes what might be interesting when you're
Black
an
X now.
audience, Black X. When you're an audience, it might just not be that exciting when you are in the frying
When you're
pot.
the subject.
When you're in the frying pan.
I mean, like, I haven't heard about the Senzo Meyiwa case, and it's one of the things I'm looking forward to this year. Because for me, one of the biggest problems in South Africa is that there is no justice. Because when justice takes 10, 14 years,
Yeah.
then there's no justice.
Yeah.
When it takes a guy who's ran out of prison, maximum prison, like wabalega, like azanga tocho, wenzeni, burnt a body. Okay, I don't know if he burnt, look, we don't know whether he burnt the body or somebody else brought the body in and then they burnt it in there and then he got, but when things like that happen and then you have a case that takes forever to start, when it starts, it has breaks. That's not justice. That's corruption of the highest order. Justice should be swift. Swift means quick, speedy. When justice is not speedy, what happens is even the storyline, not the storyline, the facts, the chronological order of events isn't during that crime can be, tampered with, corrupted. Evidence often gets trashed. I mean, I'm a police acting dockets and things like that. Then you know that you definitely don't have justice. You can't have justice that is delayed. But this year, I'm really curious to see whether the Senzo Meyiwa case, as well as this very convoluted matter, Tabo Pesta, Noma Kutuman. And I don't know why people say Mandisa Makutuman. It's Nandipa. There's a difference between the name Nandipa and Mandisa, but I do understand and I've started to appreciate how people always believe that Nandipa and Mandisa somehow are similar. How, I don't know. The one is a sa, the other one is a pa, the one starts with a ma, the other one starts with a na. Nonetheless, those cases need to wrap up like quickly. Can we please not go to elections with those cases? Can we please just get more cases in the courts? Can we please get the courts processing cases efficiently? Can we please get the police investigating cases efficiently, competently? Oh, there's an advert by the SIU. By the way, I'm a big anti-corruption activist and I still work with some of these entities that I'm talking about. So I hope they'll understand my constitutional rights to creative expression, not just factual expression, but to creative expression. It's my right, it's your right, it's all our constitutional right. The SIU has got an advert that they're running. I don't know who was the creator for that advert, but the advert says something like, oh, none of our investigators ask for money in the process of investigation or getting information from people. I'm like, SIU, please. Why would you have an ad like that? Come on, guys. Don't sue me. Okay, you can't sue me, your government. Why would you have an advert like that?
But UNISA can sue you.
No, they can't. But let's not help them. I told you, Guti Yudisa, yohlangana nabo e-court. Ungabuyile kuma-tea break wakho la ubuya khona. Uzoma nama-enemies wami. UNISA can sue you, my foot. You and UNISA will be on the one side in court. I'll be on the other side. And then uze ne camera crew na everybody during that court so that it's live. And this one will be swiftly processed in the courts, I can guarantee you. I'm going to go in well prepared as the accused and what do they call it in a civil lawsuit when somebody's suing you? You're not called the accused. Please, I want the legal type and there's a specific word for it. So minangzoba by myself, okay? The plaintiff. There we go. I'll be the plaintiff, and I'll be the plaintiff's lawyer too. Okay. So ngilindile wena ne UNISA. I keep on saying this crap. Ngilindile. Okay. Ngilindile. SIU, please. Don't have an advert that says our investigators don't ask for money. What are you suggesting? Have they been asking for money? Like, who came up with that? Look, pay the guys. If it's an ad agency or creative agency that you paid, by all means, they've done the work. You've approved the ad. It's broadcast all over. Why would the SIU say our investigators don't ask for money? Like, what's that? I've got cognitive dissonance right now. You're not supposed to ask for money. You're not supposed to be even reminding people that, by the way, amaphoyisa wethu mawazophenya awaceli mali. What is that? I don't know. For me, it just got me thinking. It got me thinking that, so we have a problem here. When you have to tell people that they investigate. It's like going to a government hospital and telling the people, the patients who use government hospitals, and there's a lot of good government hospitals, believe it or not. Steve Biko is one of them. Only because they were good hospitals even before the disastrous people took over government in 94. But for some reason, the medical profession has managed to fight back, the rot of the health system in South Africa, because it's literally rotten. Kuneyibhedlela la uya khona uhlangane neswami yama-flies. Go to Jubilee Hospital. Okay, they can't sue me either because it's a fact. And maybe Seba, they might have done something. Maybe they used a lot of vinegar or something, I don't know, to get rid of the flies. But yeah, Jubilee Hospital, it's you, your God, and your health. Mawuya lapha, good luck to you. But some of them have kept it together. But it's like it's in Hammanskraal, where there's no water.
Okay.
See the relationship? See the relationship with the rotting water pipes that are not being fixed, the water system that's not being maintained, the stuff that's just not being built. But our taxes are being collected every day, every second you breathe, you're paying tax. But they can't sort out the water problem. So what I was saying is like going to a hospital. Mawufika laphaya bathi no abonesi bethu abaceli imali mabakuthatha blood pressure. Kube ne-advert, proud, they've paid for that advert, they've printed it. I mean, come on. As a communications expert, because I am, I pride myself in understanding the value of expenditure versus what you get out of the expenditure for your communications campaigns. I mean, you're going to pay for if it's a public announcement, yes, maybe the public broadcaster doesn't charge. If it's an election announcement, maybe it's a political party, you might not pay if you're getting that free component that you get from ICASA, etc., etc. For good initiatives, don't pay generally, but they give you a short amount of time, maybe a minute sometimes because it's a public announcement. But why waste that airtime? It's so valuable. It's so expensive to put out an advert which is actually decampaigning you, which is actually raising negative questions in our heads. Kanti why? Siyazi mos ukuthi ababhadalwa.
It's like Tina, amasotsha wethu awabulale ama-civilians. Tina senza sure ukuthi nasilwa sibulala labo kumele babulawe.
Right. What would you think if the SANDF one day had an advert that said what he just said? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? It's like a man saying, just out of the blue, figure patin uyashela mashela intombazane yazi mina ngiwarape amantombazane.
Why would you say that?
I'd be like, what are you? Why would you say that? Why is that like is that a norm? Is that like a thing now? Why would I think? Why would I think? Why are you giving me a damn disclaimer? That's the disclaimer. What's with the disclaimer? It's thank you. SIU, that's not an advert. It's a disclaimer. And it's a very worrying disclaimer. And the next time I bump into you in those meetings that I attend with SIU people, it's anti-corruption, I think I must have a word with somebody. And this is the thing, right? Like, we have a very incompetent government. I'm sorry we said we're not going to talk about politics, but it really pisses me off when I think that South Africa is such a small nation.
No, we will be talking about a lot of politics. Elections are here.
We're a small nation.
From next episode, we're in
30 years with the amount of technology that we have been having in this globe on Earth for the last 30 years was enough to develop South Africa in a responsible way without getting rid of our biodiversity, using good architecture, using good engineering, brilliant, the best of the best, so-called even black excellence. I don't like mobilizing around race for anything, whether it's business or black this, black that. For me, that's just racist, because if I say white this, white that, that would be called racist. Why is it not racist if I insist on black?
It's impossible for you to be racist, you know that.
No,
you can't impose any system.
No. I can be racist. I can be racist as a black person.
Nah, it's impossible.
Let me tell you, it reduces the quality work that we should be doing. If we can stop emphasizing, Smooth is black, he made this first black, like forever. Come on, guys. It gets to a point where many of our people, at some point, younger people, etc., might think being black is a criteria. You need to think about that. I'm sorry, people can hate me. I'm anti-BEE now because BEE has not resulted in a multiplication of good quality black economic activity products and everything.
Triple P.
It has not. Look, if we focused on merit, if we focused on capability, if we focused on the strength of the individual's knowledge, capability, application of the knowledge, innovations, whatever they're making, creating, and good quality business that they're doing, and what we were talking about earlier, to what extent their money is circulating where they are operating and impacting positively on other small businesses that are feeding into them and they are feeding into the rest of the system. If we could talk about that, we would never need to have had the BEE discussion. It was necessary to reverse the impact of Black people not being promoted, not getting career progression in the workplace where you are employed. There was a time when that was necessary. But sometimes I think we missed it, because I would even go as far as saying, no, that wasn't necessary. We were already a majority in this country in terms of numbers. So once you removed the racial laws, you equalize the space by ensuring merit. Everybody operates on merit. But then you recognize that there was a big chunk of the Black population, perhaps, that didn't have an opportunity to get into certain spaces. You could have created legislation and regulation to allow for that. But once they're in, make the king, the queen must be the merit. The queen must be the quality of the product. The queen must be the longevity of the product. The queen must be the non-toxicity of the product. The queen must be, to what extent has my product or service, since I've put it into the market, created other business opportunities, work opportunities, and all sorts and all forms of economic opportunities for other Black people, especially Black people who are poorer than your base middle class base. Let me tell you, we have not increased the middle class base. We look like we've increased it because we've added a lot of Black people into it because of BE and affirmative action. Tick that box. That's okay. That's good. But what have we done? If you look at government, what is ESCOM's single most, maybe three biggest problems? Besides corruption, what are the other two? It's incompetence.
We basically enriched a few South African families.
It's incompetence, it's the corruption, it's the incompetence, and it's also the culture of entitlement. You know what makes somebody go and destroy a construction site in the interest of pushing Black advancement for Black contractors to get business? What was the main motivating factor for somebody stealing inferior coal from further down the value chain where the coal is being thrown out and putting it into our furnaces where they Eskom must electricity for us? What spurs that kind of behavior? What spurs on the kind of behavior where you would poison, yes, the CEO of your company, whether or not you feel emotional about that person? Racially, you believe he's the wrong color to run the entity, therefore you're being racist there to start off with, considering your company is already overwhelmingly Black anyway, and overwhelmingly corrupt and failing. And I'm not equating black being Black with corruption. I'm simply saying to you, here you have this entity with this situation, and still you're pushing BEE, and you're not focusing on the corruption. You're not focusing on improving the capacity of our local engineers, whether they are Black, white, colored, Indian, Chinese, whatever they might be. You're not pushing for them to bring about new innovations, to focus on the innovations that need to help us with not emitting as much filth, both into the ground, into the water systems, and into the air in the Witbank and all surrounding areas where the electricity is being manufactured, where I developed my sinus because of the excessive air pollution, including the iron ore processing that you know what's happening at Highveld Steel to feed ESCO, etc. You are not focusing on that. You're focusing on, are these people Black that we're bringing in? Yes, tick box. Oh, okay. So what am I saying to Black people? What am I saying to people younger than me? You just only need to be Black, and female, even better. Oh, you're living with disabilities. Oh, even better. That's all you need to comply with. You just need to be Black. That's racist for me. Trust me, you can't out-debate me on that discussion of decolonization, what. Yeah, a Black person can't be racist. Come on, please. Tired. Very tired. Sesisele sonke nge manje la, we are all Black. What's our criteria now? What other criteria are we going to use?
The system.
Now that 90% of the people there are Black.
The policies that haven't been changed in all these years.
Now we don't have electricity because we wanted a Black government. We wanted ESCOM to be Black. We wanted it to implement BEE. We wanted to make sure that Blackness was all we were worried about. As long as these people are Black, it's okay. Some of them can't even go to jail when they've done these horrible things. So here's my thing. For as long as in our economic spaces and value chains, we are not doing stuff together, collaborating, co-creating, creating products, building businesses, making money, as various teams coming together in different spaces. And we're not making money with one another and circulating that money and putting in systems in place to govern the flow of that money, the reporting, the return on the investments, the return on all the efforts put into it, that we are not actually impacting our society positively. But what are we doing? We're growing unemployment. We've grown it to over 60% for black women and black men. The younger, the higher the unemployment rate. We are growing corruption. There are people who think it's actually normal. Like I was talking about SIU, like our investigators don't ask for money. Like sesifike lapho where we have adverts like that. Where I must be grateful that my government is telling me that no, this time, don't worry, you don't give them money.
I see Jones this time.
We're not letting you pay for the docket to disappear. Right? So follow the trajectory of yonke le nonsense le. Izophelelaphi. So we need to get to a point where we honestly talk merit. Where all we talk about is merit. Yes, it's important to check the quotas. Are women being sufficiently empowered? But also there's this entitlement now. I might not prepare my presentation that well because I'm a black female. And I know those guys have been itching to give me that presentation because I need that funding. I need that financing. I need that equity partner. I need that strategic partner. I need that co-developer. So I'm just going to go there because I'm black and I'm a female. And I'll just prepare a mediocre presentation. I'll just do the basics. I'll go and Google on the internet. I'm not going to be specific about the thing that we're talking about. And then because I'm a black female. I'm a black female. I'm a black woman. They're going to give me that job because I'm a black woman. I think that's absolute nonsense. And it's something that I raised my child with, by the way. It's not a new belief for me. I always raised her to move away from entitlement, whether it's entitlement to something that her father, her mother, her sister, her aunt, her uncle, her grandmother, grandfather owns. And I know it's a very sensitive topic for us. Yes, I must leave my legacy for my child, and I must teach my child how to make money, how to be a productive citizen of this country. I'm certainly not raising my child to exist as a black woman and just be a black woman. She needs to exist as a human being who happens to be African, who is also productive, who is also a contributor in the value chain of co-creation, because that's exactly what co-creation is. We are co-creating with each other in the universe, and the universe is helping us to do that. And there are certain virtues and values that we need to amplify the stuff that we are co-creating, to see those profits, to be able to share those profits responsibly, to be able to teach and learn from one another and give and take. It's not going to happen if we come together just being black people. Just because I'm black. Like, there must be a differentiator. Eh? There must be a differentiator. That is why BEE beneficiaries today in South Africa can get away with flaunting their opulence shamelessly for everybody to see. On TV have really, I don't have anything against somebody who wants to show us all that they can afford a diamond, huge piece of diamond like this as an artwork. Diamond, a billion rand. That's okay. That's you and your diamond. I'm happy for you. But the shame, hey? For me, the shame comes in not seeing the trickle down effect or trickle up effect. Not seeing. I remember when the so-called right wingers, we call them right wingers, I don't know why. In terms of their economic policy framework, that's normally what you refer to as right wing and left wing, not white and black. Who used to say, yeah, that's fine, you can have your trade unions and everything. But if we shut down all the companies, what's going to happen to your trade union? What is the purpose of your trade union? Of a trade union? What is its purpose? What is its purpose? It's a question. What is its purpose?
To
To
represent the
mobilize
workers,
workers.
to mobilize-
But
yeah.
if you don't have, if you don't start, fire, manufacture, distribute, sell, recycle the can, and keep the work going, and employ people to do all of that work, where's the union?
There is no union.
So what is a union? If a union does not exist without the employer with employees, who the employer is the one spending money on the employees, and the employees are also contributing towards the production process, and that they are there to exchange, to do work and get paid. Then what is the union going to do then if you shut down your company? What becomes of the relationship between the union member and the union when the union member is fired or retrenched? Or what happens to that? What kind of a relationship is that? I don't understand that relationship. I don't know if you get where I'm going.
I totally
Then people
get
were
you.
like, yeah, but the union companies are going. I worked for such a union company at some point as the head of their corporate comms, and I became a whistleblower, and I almost got killed many years back, late 2000s. And I exposed massive corruption there. Massive corruption. Hundreds of millions of rands. I don't know how far it would go towards $1 billion, where including union workers, members' contributions that were taken from their subscription to start the investment company. So they are the actual shareholders. But the union members were not even aware that they're shareholders, didn't even understand the strategy of the firm, didn't know what the firm is doing, didn't understand. I don't know if they ever had an AGM. I don't know if they ever had share certificates. I don't know. But it was their money that was used. And when the companies where they work in the industry where that trade union organizes, when those companies retrench them, the relationship with the trade union ends. I was like, okay, this is very weird. Why would it end? Look at Solidarity. What has Solidarity done? Because they answered that question. It's one of those conversations that sizothukelwa zona because
built a brand new university.
people were like, oh, she's anti-black. Suddenly she's a what? No, I'm not. I'm extremely anti-imperialist. Extreme. I'm not an anti-capitalist really, but anti-imperialist, but also anti-stupidity. We need to start using our brains constructively.
But that's true though.
The unions must invest in the economy to the extent that they must create the employment where abantu babo mabaxoshwa. Babe ne alternative, batuxoshiwe, right? I think they'll defend anyone and everybody, even defend a person who stole blind from their employer. Angamqasha yena ku-company yakhe as a trade union that is invested in another business, and now naye member yakhe yafika bangixoshile baxosheleni uNtontshile iphi hearing naye yenzekile yonke into, you found guilty, I was found guilty, was there real evidence? Yes, it wasn't doctor. So uNtontshile vele ngitontshile ngicela ungiphe umsebenzi in your company, Mr. Union, because wena unenye company oinveste kuyo and manje I'm unemployed and I was your member, bengilokhu ngikunikeza ama-subscriptions every month for 15 years. Please ngicela umsebenzi. Uzomqasha? Ngeke uzumqasha. So let's stop this thing of black this and black that. Asebenzeni. Me, I'm tired. I think I'm even tired of this feminist what. No, man. Asebenzeni. Let's work. We have more than enough laws. So when you say these things, people hate you. Because it's almost like you're saying delete all the laws. No, the laws are there. There are many laws to protect all of us. I don't need a lawyer when I go to court. I don't. I don't even need to study an LLB. My sister did, though. Congratulations. She did. She did a whole new degree. She's got lots of degrees. Just to fight ex-husband yake in court, who was fighting for custody of the baby. Custody he lost during the divorce, and it was in the divorce decree. Goes back to court, wants custody of the child, loses it again. She went and studied a whole LLB so she can beat him. Now she's got an LLB degree and she's got full custody. Back again. Of course, he's got visitation rights and whatever rights he has. By the way, I'm not mentioning names. Sister in my culture can be a cousin, third cousin, fourth cousin, fifth cousin. It doesn't have to be just a sister the way you understand it. So I'm not spewing people's things out there. I'm just saying, you don't need a lawyer. You don't need an LLB degree. You need to go and defend your case as best you know how. present evidence, present facts. Even better if you can go and read parts of the Criminal Procedures Act and other acts that are related to court processes. The judge is duty bound to help you during the case. To say, no, you're going about it the wrong way. At this point, I need you to prove your allegation, or I need you to defend this statement, or I need you to clarify the. And until the case ipela, all you need is the truth, which shall set you free. Be it Unisa. The truth is going to set me free.
Sure. It's going to be a fire year, guys. 2024. Sis Mandisa, it's good to see you. Thank you. I'm glad you're good. You're glowing. You're fresh. We're going natural. We're eating healthy. We're inspiring and educating people. We're encouraging. We are motivating people. We're changing lives in 2024.
Bonga Mina, thank you so much.
I'm looking forward to ungovernable or virtual cook, whatever.
Yeah, but we also need to talk to the kids as they go back to school.
Yeah.
We need to talk to the people going back to work. We need to talk to their issues, their little things. The school situation also needs a big conversation.
I know.
The kind of schools that are forcing things down on kids. I remember we need to break that act that we, once you had a guy.
Spoke about,
Yeah. The basic education, what, some new act there with some unintended consequences or intended consequences. We need to talk about school stuff.
There's lots to talk about, especially on next week's episode, because you remember a few weeks ago, even just before the festive season, a lot of young people were complaining about NextFast having run out of money. And excuse me,
the corruption of
NFSAS. Let's park it for the next episode. There's so much.
That's why they're running out of the money.
It's going to be an interesting year, guys. We love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sis Mandisa, it's good to have you back. I'm looking forward to watching your podcast. Glued in every week, the type of guests that you're going to have, and just the type of content that you will be sharing on your own, because you said to me it's not all the time that you're going to have guests. There's just going to be moments, or just for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, you just want to speak to them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gabon.
Bongamin.
We'll see you guys next week.
Magwande.
I don't think she sees herself sometimes.